Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How can someone who's mostly free and at home seek knowledge in a good way? طيب. This question is a pretty important one, because a lot of people, they find themselves with a lot of time. If they have it, they generally have it, or they had a job or so, or school or so, and then they have a lot of free time and uh, holidays or so, right? And then they're like, how do I use this time in the best way? How do I use this time to seek knowledge in the best way? Because nowadays, or now in this case, when you have a lot of time, it could be that you don't know how to use this time in the correct way, how to split your time in the correct way, and so on. So, and this also then it could be as an example for sisters or so who stay alone at home or so, right? And so on. Now, so in short, the best way is that you and I've spoken to some of my mashayikh on this as well. And I remember I asked Sheikh Mus'ab on this, and he said that using social media is from the greatest ways to seek knowledge. طيب. Of course, you always hear social media is so bad, stay away from it and so on, right? But and of course this is correct, but if you're going to use it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to seek knowledge and all of these things, then of course it is a thing which is good. So the way of how you use if social media is good or bad, it depends on how you use it. طيب. So Allah musta'an, if you use it to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, use it to seek knowledge and so on, then it is good. You use it to spread da'wah, seek knowledge, so then it is good bi'idhnillah. But it's very easy to get yourself distracted by other things while you do that. And if you're going to use it for waste, it's for things to waste your time, or even worse, in muharramat or so, speak to the opposite gender. So then in such cases, or you watch these TikToks and so on, or dances, or these things, then of course this is not allowed. But in short, and I've spoken to this with one of the ikhwa as well, who is close to Sheikh Al-Khlafi, and he was basically saying that he sees that seeking knowledge with recorded classes goes before seeking knowledge on in live classes. Because recorded classes, you can have your own way, you have your own timing. I want to do this now, I don't want to do this now, right? I finished Al-Aqeedah Al-Wasitiyya, I will go to Kitab Al-Tawheed as an example. طيب, I finished this book in fiqh, I will take a break for a week, and then I will do this next book in fiqh, right? If you're stuck with a sheikh, it could be that you have 8 hours in your day free, and then the sheikh only, the sheikh most likely, he doesn't have that much free time as you. So the sheikh could, as an example, have a class for 1 hour, 2 hours every day, and then that is even if it is aslan every day, طيب, and then you have the rest of the time where you don't have anything to do. So when someone asks me I have a lot of free time, do you know any mashayikh that they have live streamed classes or so, I say it's better that you listen to recorded classes. Now of course this requires discipline, right? Because if you don't have that, you will say, okay, let's start, and then maybe after a week or so you will start to get lazy and say, well, if I don't do it now, then I can do it afterwards. No, you need to be you need to deal with recorded classes as if they are live. Because when you're in a live class, you listen and you pay attention and so on, and after the class the sheikh takes questions and you ask things that you, and when you have the recorded classes, you you don't have that. You don't have that interaction with the sheikh, number one. And this could be a sheikh on the opposite. Well, of course, if you're on the live stream, he could be on the opposite side of the plan it as well. But I mean, يعني the Sheikh, you could even listen to classes of mashayikh that يعني have that died, even like Sheikh Ibn Baz and Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin, and so طيب rahmatullahi alayhima, and so on, right? But what I'm trying to say is that you need to discipline yourself if you're going to seek knowledge off of recorded classes. And by the way, I see this as much better, as I said, than those that are not in that way. So you find even the most of the classes that we hold, they don't have a specific tartib. Yani when we did al-Ibān al-Sughra, I explicitly said that this is not for people who are starting to seek knowledge, because it's not gonna be easy, right? Even though al-Ibān al-Sughra is not that big of a book, right? And it's not that difficult of a book, but it's still not the book you would start with, yani, right? But we still read it knowing that we will, inshallah, afterwards do easier books. And we did, afterwards we did Sharh Sunnah al-Muzani and Thalathat al-Usul and so, right? And we still have plans, inshallah, for books that are easier even than Sharh Sunnah, inshallah. But what I'm trying to say is that I believe that having someone who can help you set up a plan to seek knowledge, having someone that is able to tell you, do this book before this book, or take this sharh and don't take this sharh. As an example, I would never advise anyone to start, like as an example, when you're starting to read Al-Aqidah Al-Wasitiyya on the first time, I would not recommend to read, as an example, the sharh of Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin or the sharh of Sheikh Salih al-Sheikh or so. Not because they're not good, but because they are of course good. But as example, the Sharh of Sheikh Salih al-Sheikh is 2 volumes. So it's like you'll get bored, bro. You will get bored when you read that. And because as well, they have a lot of things that are deeper and so on. They mention the ikhtilaf. Okay, of course in the book of Aqidah there will not be that much ikhtilaf, but they could mention as an example some issues that are in a hadith that has an issue in aqidah and an issue in fiqh. So after they explain the issue in aqidah, they're going to explain the issue in fiqh, or they explain the issue in aqidah in the long term. So you need to know what you need to know how to seek knowledge, and inshallah ta'ala we will speak about this, right? But you basically need to know how to seek knowledge. You need to, or it is best that you have someone you can ask, right? And if you don't have anyone you can ask, inshallah ta'ala, if you can send me, for those who have questions about seeking knowledge or so, you can send them to me, inshallah ta'ala, I will respond to them in this way, right? So that's not that big of a deal, but Allah musta'an. So I personally believe that recorded classes is above classes that are live, because classes that are live, it could be now that someone, he has never read a book, and then he finds a class of reading live Majmu' al-Fatawa or Al-Iman al-Kabir of Shaykh al-Islam, right? The guy won't understand, or Al-Sharia al-Ajurri or Al-Lalakai, you won't understand it, And I actually recall, because when I started to seek knowledge, I didn't understand this, right? So I would go into classes of like Al-Iban al-Kubra and so, and I literally wouldn't go out with anything, Of course, there is the benefit of that, you sit in the classes of knowledge and so on, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, in the hadith of اجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله, until the end of the hadith. So of course the fact that you're just sitting in the classes of knowledge, is good. And I remember Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin, this I read about this somewhere, that there was a guy in the back who basically, yeah, and he was sitting in the class but he didn't understand a thing, right? So the Sheikh said to me, yani, why are you sitting here if you don't understand anything? So that guy said to Sheikh Ibn Uthaymin, yani, one of the greatest scholars of our time, he told him, Wallahi, I'm sitting here because this is the place where the yani, angels gather and so on. Subhanallah. So this is what we're trying to say. Yes, it is good that you sit in it, that you sit in those classes, those live classes, even if you don't understand everything. Of course, it's best if there's something you don't understand that you ask or so. But this at some point leads to questions that are very easy to يعني not ask. You know, if you would seek knowledge in the correct way. طيب. But in short, you know, inshallah ta'ala, we will have yani, upcoming classes and so on, talks about this topic, how to seek knowledge. Inshallah ta'ala, I've actually been planning that yani, if you go back to my audios from maybe a year ago, I actually said that I was planning a series on how to seek knowledge, and I prepared for it at that time, and then I didn't like what I did, so I started it again here, and I am done with it in Aqidah, and you know, yeah, I guess we could do a video on how to seek knowledge in Aqidah يعني, on English, but the rest I didn't really do, especially because there's not that much out there يعني, on English, you know. But anyways, I have sent before on this channel. If you go into the pinned message, yeah, for those who want to listen to classes and so on from the recordings or even from the streams, you know, in the pinned message on the channel, this channel of, and then you go under important posts, you see recommended YouTube channels. طيب. This one, inshallah ta'ala, you can benefit from, because I put there a lot of channels that inshallah ta'ala are from Ahl Sunnah, and they you know, and we change in this, you know, yani, we add and remove channels, and you know, I mean, we haven't done that yet, but you know, if anyone has anything to add, or if anyone wants to tell me to remove anything, you know, you can tell me yani. But in short, you know, subscribe to these channels, and you know, if they're live, I guess you can go live, even, you know, as I said yani, but you can listen to their classes and so on. One brother, Allahumma barak, has a sharh on English on Musannif Ibn Musannif Ibn Abi Shayba, which is like, wow, you know, Allahumma barak. I don't know why, but you know, I guess if he sees that as good, then you know, Allah musta'an. But yeah, so Allah musta'an. Inshallah ta'ala, we as well will have a lot of upcoming series. And you guys, if you remember my series of common mistakes in prayer, right? This one, I loved that a lot, and I feel, inshallah ta'ala, that a lot of people have gained from it. So I definitely want to do one like that again. So this is why I sent, you know, above in the channel previously, you know, the issue of Allah musta'an, you know, astaghfirullah al-azim, of Allah musta'an, of these two books that I sent, إتحاف المصلين of Sheikh Adil, and مختصر الجامع الصحيح في الفتن والملاحم وأشراط الساعة. These types of small books, you know, inshallah ta'ala, they're just ahadith يعني, so we will read them, comment on these ahadith, and gain, inshallah, in these topics and so on. So this is definitely things that I want to do. We'll do إتحاف المصلين inshallah, then we'll do مختصر الجامع الصحيح inshallah. And there's a lot more that I have in my mind as well, which we will do inshallah. Bigger books as well, smaller books and so on. يعني may Allah make it easy, may Allah يعني benefit the people with it, and may Allah make it sincere. So I would definitely recommend the people who يعني and these are also these series are not just for students of knowledge. These are even, or they are aslan more towards those that are not actually real students of knowledge, if you could say it in that way, but rather people that like knowledge but they don't have time, or they just want to learn about their deen, want to read the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and so, but they don't have that much time to be real scholars, or to seek knowledge in the way of the scholars, or sit with scholars or so. And inshallah ta'ala, we will also have the classes for the ones who want to become real students of knowledge, and and so on. From the series, that series that we have of the Aqeedah of the Salaf and so on, inshallah ta'ala, that one as well. We have still very big plans for those, inshallah ta'ala. So Allah musta'an. May Allah make it easy and sincere for His face. تبارك وتعالى. بارك الله فيكم وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.